It has been said that the world's first space hotel may become a reality very soon, and it will no longer be science fiction. The construction of a space station to be placed in close proximity to Earth is due to begin as early as 2025. There will be a variety of restaurants and cinemas in the hotel, as well as wellness areas. The hotel is expected to be able to accommodate up to 400 guests, while the space station is expected to have enough space to accommodate thousands of people. In today's video, we are shown the hotel that will be constructed piece by piece. The Orbital Assembly Corporation intends to build the inner spinning wheel with the help of robots in Earth orbit as the first step. It is planned that individual pods will be launched to attach to the outer edges of this spinning wheel. Each pod will contain a hotel room, a bar, and other amenities. Additionally, there are several other spaces that could serve a variety of purposes. Government agencies, as well as private space companies, could use the station as a home for their own science module or as a training center for astronauts preparing to land on Mars. If you are enjoying our videos, please support us with a thumbs up, subscribe, and keep an eye out for many more exciting videos. A hotel around the Earth's orbit could be a very logical thing to create, since space travel will soon become a reality for those who wish to extend their experience of space travel. The number of space travelers has always been large. However, in recent years, their number has continued to grow rapidly. As more and more people dream of seeing even a small part of the universe around them, their number has continued to grow. Seeing through the eyes of modern people, the possibility of living in space intrigues us a great deal. And even if you only imagine it, the Foundation Gateway has announced its very real plans to construct the first space hotel in the world, which is expected to attract at least 100 tourists every week by the year 2025. In honor of the rocket engineer von Braun, the Von Braun Space Station was named. His biography is controversial due to the fact that he was part of the Nazi Party at the beginning of his career. But as a good specialist, he was appointed director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. The space station he is named after will be assembled on site using robots and drones. It is the designer, Tim Alatorre, who has been entrusted with designing the station. This massive ring, with a diameter of 200 meters, was designed by von Braun himself as a result of his ideas from the 1950s. It is a ring that is shaped like a ring and can be turned into a perfect gravity ring if it is turned at a certain angle. The residential hotel is designed to increase the force of gravity on the moon, with a width of 20 meters. As the Voyager project was presented by the Urban Assembly Company, construction on the extraterrestrial hotel has already been scheduled for 2025, and at the latest after 5 years, it is expected to begin accepting its first guests. A project such as this is expected to be completed by 2027. The project will be commercial, and it is evident that Vogue will be able to conduct nightly research, and that will be extremely chic for the future. Guests will not only pay for the innovative concept, as they will also have the option to choose from a variety of facilities, such as thematic treatments, spas, fitness centers, and libraries. The square itself is connected to the pipes at right angles, which play on the floor as well as on spokes as well as on ridges. The crew will have their own place within this huge station. According to the founder of Orbital Assembly Corporation, the next industrial revolution will begin with Voyager, as it will make one tour of the Earth every 90 minutes to provide electricity, air, and water. A prototype of the Voyager, with a diameter of 61 meters, will be built as soon as possible. The work that will be used to assemble the residential station has been patented. As part of the testing of the prototype, various technologies will be tested in order to verify proposed theories and to conduct experiments that will accumulate the necessary information to construct the original Voyager station. The Orbital Assembly Corporation is offering 4 million shares at a price of 25 cents each. So at a total cost of $1 million, this is only a small part of the cost of the original Voyager station. The price of the whole project is currently $20 for a £1 utility using Falcon 9. If it is replaced with Starship, the price of £1 of useful goods has already reached $200. A Voyager has a total weight of about 2,500 tons, and the cost of each component is solid $5 billion with FC. Furthermore, financial resources are required to develop the system. Considering that Voyager is the world's first orbital hotel, it would be extremely interesting to understand the cost of a vacation in space, as the implementation of the necessary experiments for the creation of the prototype and so on will be crucial. It is important to note that this is a commercial project and the investment has to be recouped. Currently, a private flight in space costs around $250,000, and this space holiday will cost just under that. There haven't been any details disclosed about the cost of building the space station or the cost of staying overnight at a hotel. But according to the OAC, the cost of building is on the rise due to the use of reusable launch vehicles such as the SpaceX Falcon 9 and the future Starship. Among the ideas that are being proposed for using the orbital station include the purchase of one of the 20 by 12 meter modules for a private villa or multiple modules to create a hotel with the spa cinema, and more government agencies could use the station to create their own science module or as a training center for astronauts preparing to go to Mars. The station can serve as a training center for astronauts or as a private villa. A Voyager-class space station is a rotating space station which is designed to produce different levels of artificial gravity by increasing or decreasing the speed of rotation. In the visualizations for the station, the inner ring will function as a docking hub, while the outer ring will function as the station's backbone. Rotation presents the station as two concentric structural rings fixed together. As part of the installation process, we will be able to build habitable modules, solar panels, radiators, and a rail transportation system. These structures will be attached to a variety of different sizes, and each structure will be. There is no doubt that the Space Hotel will serve more than just tourists, because it will be extremely important for the national space agencies to conduct research under low-gravity conditions. The company embarking on this ambitious project is the Orbital Assembly Corporation, with plans to begin construction of the Space Hotel by the year 2025, with the first guests able to stay in the hotel by then. The Voyager class will provide a similar opportunity for space travelers in 2027. OAC has a long history of aspiration to colonize space, and its realization will provide the same opportunity. As per the website, the OAC was created by the Gateway Foundation, a foundation founded by John Blinkoff in 2012 to create the very first space pod. Hotel renderings suggest an interior that is not too different from the interior of a luxury Earthbound hotel. The hotel's aesthetic was inspired by the Stanley Kubrick movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, which he called almost a blueprint of what not to do when the initial designs appeared a couple of years ago. Tim Alator, an experienced design architect at Orbital Assembly Corporation, explained the hotel's aesthetic was a direct response. Instead of bringing a slice of Earth to space, Alatori and his team intend to bring a slice of Earth to space. As a result of the hotel's warm suites and chic bars and restaurants, guests may feel like they are in space, but they can still enjoy their regular beds and showers, which isn't to say the hotel will ignore the novelty of being in space altogether, just to make sure. There are plans to serve traditional space food like freeze-dried ice cream in the hotel's restaurant. Additionally, there will be a variety of recreational activities that highlight the fact that you're able to do things that, in a ladder's view, because of the weightlessness and reduced gravity in space, you will be able to jump higher, be able to lift things, and be able to run in a way that you would never be able to on Earth. Space tourism is becoming increasingly popular, and a number of companies are trying to make it happen, such as Virgin Galactic and Elon Musk's SpaceX. There is a chance that SpaceX's Starship system will assist in getting Voyager station off the ground for now. The Space Hotel isn't advertising a room rate, but it is expected that it will come with a pretty hefty price tag. As an example, Virgin Galactic plans to launch passengers into suborbital space for $250,000 per person per trip. On the other hand, the team behind Voyager Station has said they hope to eventually make a stay at the hotel equivalent to a trip on a cruise or trip to Disney's Starship Culture. While the Voyager Station may be one of the most flashy of Orbital's designs, it is really only one facet of their space ambitions. As part of their plan, the team hopes to build research stations as well as create opportunities for space tourism and commerce. Whether it is a government or private company, a company might use modules to train crews heading to Mars, the Moon, and beyond. As Alator stated at the live event in 2021, the next step in getting the Voyager station up and running is getting more investors on board and continuing to perform tests on the ground. The ultimate goal, as Alator put it back in 2019, is to create a Starship culture where people go to space on their own. It is likely that people are going to want to live and work in space, and they wanted to be in space. and we believe that there will be a demand for that as the years go on. However, we believe that interest in space tourism will really take off once space tourism extends beyond Earth orbit, particularly if lunar missions become financially and logistically feasible. However, it is important to note that space travel has a long history. A comparison with the International Space Station ISS. So far, no details have been released about how much it will cost to build or stay in the space hotel. So far, we have had a chance to use the International Space Station as a comparison. This laboratory orbits the Earth 240 miles above and is a science and engineering laboratory worth $100 billion. Since late 2000, the ISS has been continuously manned by a rotating crew of astronauts and cosmonauts. Research conducted aboard the ISS involves several unusual conditions that occur in a low Earth orbit, such as low gravity and oxygen. These technical conditions must also be met by a space hotel if guests are to avoid risks and are to be reliably supplied with food, water, and other services. Oxygen is the subject of the ISS's research spanning life sciences, physics, space medicine, meteorology, human research, and astronomy. However, what would the higher purpose of such a hotel orbiting the Earth be? And with what justification would such a structure be constructed? As well as how many guests would have to visit the hotel in order to cover the maintenance costs? Who would? I would like you to come up with the funding to take a vacation in space. The U.S. Space Agency, NASA, spends about $3 billion a year on the International Space Station program, which is only possible because the President and his administration continue to support it. NASA is being overseen by a committee of the United States House of Representatives, which is looking at whether or not the program is a good idea. As a result, the ISS can be extended beyond 2024 if progress and research justify ongoing costs in this regard. In addition, if the ISS were to be used as an intermediate station in the future in order to facilitate flights into human space or to the Moon and Mars, it may be possible for astronauts in the near future to be able to stop over on the Voyager station before they proceed to another destination. It is possible that Voyager will be given its due and higher purpose even if it is not given its due and higher purpose. As a consequence, there will be a series of pods that will be attached to the outside of the rotating ring, some of which could be sold to NASA and SAS as space exploration pods, making the space station more than just a hotel. While the original goal of the artificial gravity space station was to build a hotel, the company hopes to bring NASA and SAS aboard. As a matter of fact, it's possible that this is exactly what the International Space Station would look like if it had artificial gravity generated on board. As soon as 2027, the Voyager space station, developed by the Orbital Assembly Corporation, will be able to operate and receive its first guest in Earth orbit. The Voyager space station consists of a series of rings are attached to the outermost rings of a space station, and the outermost rings will contain a number of modules that will give it a look a bit similar to a Ferris wheel. In the future, the space station will be in constant motion spinning around itself, creating an artificial gravity that will be comparable to the gravitational pull on the Moon. So guests will not be in complete weightlessness, but they will still be able to move around with apparent ease. Blind Co., founder of the Gateway Foundation, says rotation is essential because it is impossible to have people on a space station for extended periods of time without gravity. It is well known that the concept of an orbiting space station built around a central circular wheel dates back to the very beginning of space travel. Wernher von Braun was one of the architects of the Apollo program in the 1950s and proposed a wheel-shaped habitat that rotated to create artificial gravity, which led to the creation of the concept of Voyager Station. A similar idea, but on a much larger scale, emerged in 2012 with the creation of the Gateway Foundation Orbital Assembly Corporation. As part of the Foundation's efforts to make the vision of an orbital station a reality, a company was created in 2018 whose goal was to be operational by 2027. Once the station is completed, it will be the largest man-made object ever launched into space. It is similar to taking a cruise on a cruise ship in Space Voyager Station's hotel, except that this cruise ship does not sail in the sea, and visitors will not get seasick. Each of these 24 integrated living modules will be 64 feet long and 38 feet wide, and each will serve a different purpose from hotel rooms to movie theaters. Some of these modules will be operated on their own. In addition to crew quarters, air, water, and power, the Gateway Foundation will include a gym, a restaurant bar, and other essential facilities for people who will be staying on the station for extended periods of time, as well as a gym kitchen and a restaurant bar. It is also possible for individuals and governments to lease or buy the other modules, for example, to convert one or more of the modules into a private villa. Additionally, the company plans to build a station with lounges, concert halls, libraries, and anything else you might find on a cruise ship, except this ship will be able to travel around the world every 90 minutes and will be the future of human spaceflight. According to the Orbital Assembly Corporation, there has been no word on what the cost of the space station will be or how much a night in a hotel will cost, although according to the Orbital Assembly Corporation, using reusable launch vehicles such as the SpaceX Falcon 9 and future spacecraft, construction costs are getting cheaper because large objects can be launched into orbit much more profitably. The average price of launching a pound of material into space has long been about $3,600 per pound. However, because of the Falcon 9 reusability, the cost has fallen to just over $900 per pound. SpaceX predicts that after the construction of Starship, the cost per pound will be lowered to less than $200 per pound. These rockets and future reusable spacecraft will be necessary to make the space station functional by allowing regular and rapid connections between Earth and the space station. A prototype will shed light on how the Voyager station will be developed by a team of veterans from the NASA space program, including pilots, engineers, and architects. The team is designing and building a system that includes multiple pods for different purposes, as well as a high-speed train. This team intends to test this concept with a much smaller prototype and a free-flying facility similar to the International Space Station. Once this test is completed, a robot will be released. There will be a robot that will build the frame for Voyager in orbit, known as the Star or Structure Truss Assembly Robot. The first space structure will be a prototype gravity ring measuring 61 meters in height, with the potential to spin and create a gravity similar to the one on Mars. This would be about 40% of the Earth's gravity. It is anticipated that construction will last about 2 years, with the purpose of demonstrating the project initially.